Okay. In the meantime, I'm going to send across. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Right. I have some few questions I need to ask. Why, Louis? Are you ready? Louis.
Yes, Pastor.
Okay. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah. I'm ready to go when you're ready.
Okay. I just want to ask some interview questions first before we continue. About 2, 3 questions I need answering. And okay, if you look at the chat box, everyone, look at the chat box. There is a question there. Yeah. How can an organization build a culture that values data governance and compliance? How can
I can't see any. Okay, now I can see.
how can an organization build a culture that values data governance and compliance? Okay. Uh, has anybody got an answer to that effect? Are you
True.
sure?
How can an organization build a culture of value? Oh, a culture that values data governance.
Yeah, and compliance.
Oh, someone can't get an audio.
Yeah, you can
Is it could one way be through creating clear policies?
clear policies. Yeah,
So valuing it is like creating value is the value for the by I think is best to create that culture is to enlighten the whole structure itself on how important and the advantages um, on what data governance brings to the policy itself, to the and because at the end of the day, the business is all about portraying the oh, what's that word again? The stakeholders' view,
yes,
and also matching the GDPR and whatever compliance that is out there in respect to law. But most importantly, um, illustrating how much what data governance brings to the table and how it measures the value and progress of on and how the company is evolving. Yeah, it gives it like a blueprint,
yeah.
which
If
can
you look,
which
if
can
you
be
look,
expressed through visualization, also metrics, um, in terms of audit and control on whoever is complying. Yeah, it gives a lot. So I think the value to it is more of enlightening people what data government. It's not something that they should be looked over. It's actually a key factor in every structure.
yeah, yeah. Thank you, thank you for that try as well. So, yeah, Ife, your hands up.
So in addition to what everyone else has said, one of the ways in which an organization can do that is by making sure everyone in the organization is aware of data governance principles and its requirements. So you can either do this through presentations, through training, education, um, even surveys in the organization, making sure everyone is aware that that kind of thing is going on. So,
Absolutely.
so there are
You
different
just
ways in
need.
which you do it, and then also making sure that people are actually using it by monitoring and um, probably monitoring and improving whatever process there is.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. You see, yeah, the key word there is caution. We all know value already. Value has been seriously explained by Lewis. Caution is very important. That is the key word there. If you listen to Precious, Precious made mention of policy. So you see, the policy that you establish we will be so important for the culture to be, carried out. Like I said, if he just said, if he mentioned, he just kid, he just he pointed everything. You still, you instill in everyone the awareness through training or the policy, principle, practice. You also reward compliance, ad, adherence, and also showcase successes, and also various success stories, and incorporate data governance principle into the company value, right? The company corporate values, the company corporate goals is very important. So it's about training, creating more awareness. When you talk about caution, means the lifestyle. So the lifestyle of what? That's it. Making the company as a
I'm
life.
not low my hand. You just answered my question just now.
That's it.
Thank you,
Yes.
thank you, thank you, thank you,
No
Pastor.
problem. It's part of it. The lifestyle of the company should be that value of data governance, the profit margin that they create, and the compliance issue, or to make it as a lifestyle. And
But,
that includes,
Pastor, can I ask a question?
so
When
please.
a culture is a practice.
Mm.
Now, if it's a day-to-day practice, can you say that it's a ritual, or is it a different thing entirely? Can I?
The word ratio is not talking about negativity. It's when you do things continuously and take it as a continuous something that you do, that you
I
don't
believe
miss.
there's a ritual we all do every morning. When we wake up, we brush our teeth.
Yeah, so those
We
are
have our bath. So that's like
mm,
a ritual, or is
yeah.
that a culture?
That's a part of. I mean,
I know this is not part of data government. I'm just trying to get that
yes,
clear in my head.
basically what it is that the question really try to say, now you are in charge of data governance, and as a data governance manager, lead a chief of data in a company. How can you ensure that the enterprise have a culture of values data governance and compliance? You just make it's like it must be a lifestyle of everyone. You wake up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you wake up in
Yeah.
the morning, you know what to do. It could
Mm-hmm.
be only you can make it as a ritual, it's part of that. If you take the ritual as part of your culture, it becomes.
Yeah.
So this is what it
Thank
is.
you.
Yeah, this is what
Yeah.
this question is very important for best practice, and that is why kind of, the most of the question that come is about best practice, because if you say you have worked in a place before and you have uh, experience in it, so let's assume that what are the kind of best practice out of that? The question is as a result of best practice. Another question that is so important is, what strategy can organizations use to ensure effective communication about data governance initiatives across all levels of the company? What strategy? This is about compliance. This is about best practice. I'm trying to talk about best practice a lot, you know. So this is very important. Um, one on the one on one on the answer to this is actually important, because one of the requirements by one employer in the advertisement kind of more keen to get in answer to this kind of questions, which is very important, you know. Don't forget that your CV stating that you have worked with that, you have worked with so company, you got experience in this and that. So they won't tell you that you should bring theoretical issues. Yeah, but right now it's like you try to convert a theoretical analysis to practical action if you have experience in data governance. So what
Um,
strategies can organization use to ensure effective communication
I,
about data governance initiatives across all levels of the company?
I would say key fact by identifying key factors, stakeholders, those responsible, and identifying responsibility for everyone in the sector, in the sector as a whole.
Yeah.
That's one strategy I believe in. That way you are able to pinpoint or assigning responsibility.
Yeah.
Or defining it, which is a very big key factor in terms of strategy.
That's actually a very good try.
Yeah.
I want us to, yeah, any other person?
So strategies are long-term plans, right?
Of course.
So again, I can say that one of the ways in which they can do this is by training again. Training will be key because without training, whatever plans you put in place or whatever initiatives you put in place will be null and void. Because if the people you're trying to instill these things to have no clue or have no idea, then it's as good as useless to them. So I will say training again. I can say feedback, which again is getting surveys from people. This will help you to initiate your long-term plans. And of course, the question is communication.
Yeah.
How are you communicating it with everyone? Because you talked about, so the question is asking about effective communication. Again, that's, do you have, what kind of communication plan have you got for that? Is it, are you going to be doing presentations? Are you going to be doing, are you going to be putting things on the company's billboards or intranet to tell people about it? Or are you going to have a dedicated website to data governance? So those are some of the things that companies can do.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I love this good try from both of you. It's really, really good. If you look at it, if you look at the question very well, like as you rightly explained, strategy is a long-term plan, okay? And that will ensure the key words there, not just communication, effective communication. So that is a key word that you can see, effective communication about data governance initiatives across all levels of the company, could be across all the functional departments. Okay, so you want it to have an initiative across all functional departments. So that implies that you really need to do some work. So what you could do is to utilize multiple communication channels, multiple, because you're dealing with, like as Louis talked about, stakeholders as well. Very important. You're dealing with so many people within, and more. It's so simple that the answer to the question is actually within the question, talking about all levels. So that means a cross-functional department. And you're talking about all levels, talking about chief executive, all stakeholders, those interested. So like if a segment mention or like billboard or intranet, yeah, there are so many channels you can use anyway. So it's actually utilize multiple communication channels that you can identify within the enterprise, simplify, couples informations, yeah, make it clear and simplify it, and also use real life examples to communicate across the functional department and engage leadership in regular communication effort. That's where Louis mentioned stakeholders. That's what we're talking about. In fact, when you have a question like this, uh, any question relating to communication, talking about your ability to collaborate, to work as a team player as well. So it's very important. So data quality initiatives, no one man's business as well. So as long as you can ensure the best practice by following standards and best standards and policies and procedures, you have your threshold or criteria to measure what you're putting together is very, very important. Thank you. I don't know if it's understood. Okay. Is that clear, everyone? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so probably one more question before we go in. And how does data governance contribute to improve decision making within the organization? I think everybody should have the answer to this.
Mm.
How does data governance contribute to improve decision making within an organization? How does it go? Any attempt? So look at the question itself. Look at the keywords within.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good to make an attempt. Data governance helps to improve decision making within organizations in various ways. Recently, there was an outcry about a JAM official in Nigeria. I don't know, for people like Precious who who don't know anything about Nigeria. I don't know if she's heard about JAM before, but this is an entry into the university, and one of the staff there took a young girl's details off the board and contacted this girl. The girl is underage. She's 15 years old. Unfortunately for him, the mom used her phone to register this girl. He thought he was chatting up the girl, but it was actually the mom's phone he was chatting up. And the mom came on social media and she made an outcry about it and saying that how can this be? They have gone against the policies, gone against security and everything for the man to be able to contact her daughter. That imagine if it was a 16-year-old girl he was chatting up, what will happen? So based on that, JAM said they were going to, so they pulled in the staff, they were able to get hold of the person and they got him arrested a few days back. So this was something that happened, I think, about 2 weeks ago. They got him arrested. So if it was in a country like this, automatically that woman will be taking that jam to court. And what will be the outcome? Heavy payouts.
Absolutely.
So that will be heavy payouts. And of course, that guy has already lost his job. So that's loss of earnings and all that for him anyway. But anyway, data governance helps identify things like this. It will help to mitigate risks. So things like breach of policies, privacy violations, regulatory non-compliance, those are some of the things that data governance helps to identify. So of course, if they had more data, so it can work in different ways. Now, if they had more information on that guy, say there was some sort of database where he has been known to do such thing like that, he will be on that register. And of course, that will help JAM to make a decision not to employ him. But at the same time, with things like this, JAM is able to now know that there's a breach somewhere in their system where if a candidate puts in their details, someone is likely to go in there and pick up that detail without any knowledge of officials and contact this person. So which means they can get sued and they'll have to pay out heavily for that. Absolutely. So there are different ways in which data governance can actually come help with decision making in an organization. So one, it can help with risk mitigation. It can help with data accessibility and transparency. It can also help with the business objectives. So what are the goals and objectives of the business? How are they prioritizing that data? For example, with the, what do you call this, the speed, Lois will know this one, with the traffic regulations and speeding cameras on the road. You know that if you go above a certain limit, they will pick you up. That gets put on your licenses, points get put on your licenses. Before you know it, your license gets withdrawn. So these are some of the things that data governance management helps organizations to pick up, gives them more and more data. And with that data, they can afford to do all sorts of things. It helps them to comply. And then also with that HRMC, it helps them regulatory adherence for, I'm talking about places like HMRC, and then you yourself as a company. Are you complying with what HMRC is saying? Are you paying your taxes and all that? So there are different ways in which data governance come in useful and which helps organizations to make better informed decisions. Thank you for listening to me prattle on.
Thank you. That's a very good
Pastor,
one. Yeah,
on
Louis.
this one, what I would like to chip in on this one, how data governance improves, I'll use my experience at work. Um, Data governance itself is all about governing policies put out there in every organization. And it gets to a stage where it gets a bit complex, and that is why training is actually important when it comes to organizations that deal with policies, because there are inter structures between other companies that you deal with, especially if it's a place like this insurance broker, whereby
Mm,
you are dealing with other people who have their own policies, but there's also another policy governing both companies and all of that. If you do not have a clear understanding about it, you cannot present or portray the stakeholders' view on service
that's
with
correct.
to a company. So as complex as it may be, it is the company owns that responsibility to empower the staffs, their
Mm,
employees, to make sure they are fully compliant. Because at the end of the day, as much as people go into a shop and buy something, they need to make it as simple as stress-free for everyone, but there's a lot of complex things that go into it. An ordinary person might just go in and say, okay, I'm buying this. I expect you to give me this while I'm paying for this. But whereby they do not understand or they are misinformed. Plus, I had one last week. This was from a celebrity as well, and they own an Aston Martins, and this is a car worth about 200 thousand pounds.
yeah, that's
And
more than
uh,
that.
yeah, is more yeah, but that was a value at that point in time. It was a 2000 and whatever car, but it was a celebrity and it was an old car,
Mm,
very valuable to them, and they were misinformed by the dealership.
mm,
Now they wanted us to come over and do whatever for their car. But we had our own policies guiding us that when it comes to this level, we take
mm,
it straight to the dealership. And
mm,
when they rang the dealership said, "Oh, don't worry, bring it over to us. Tell them you want it to come over." And I said, and when that call came to me,
mm,
I very calmly, I knew the customer was misinformed,
mm.
and like I said, data governance itself is all about understanding policies, and that
Absolutely.
way it makes you able to decide what to do. So at that point in time, even as I was responsible for that customer to deliver good service, I had to inform the customer that unfortunately, I understand they've told you this, but according to your policy with Aston Martins, we are supposed to come in, have a look, see how it works, see what's going on. If it's something we can fix, we fix it right there. That way, it saves you time
Mm,
from going to stay, have a queue at the dealership, well as we can resolve this. And that is what our business, but that's the stakeholders' view to portray, and which I have to stand by while working for them.
mm,
The customer was saying, no, 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 just take it there. I said, uh, unfortunately, in order for me, this is a process.
mm.
So I had to take my time, explain it further to the customer, and the customer finally yields it. Okay, I said, if you check your documents, this is what should take place. The last straw is for us to take your vehicle to the dealership.
Absolutely. You see, yeah, you guys have actually explained a lot about concerning the question. You see, if you know data governance very well, almost everything, the ultimate aim of data governance is this question. We're talking about informed decision
Yep,
making. Informed decision making. So you're going to make decision based on what? The integrity of data.
exactly.
So that's what it means. So now you're going to have an informed decision based on quality of data. And how can you have the quality of data? That's why I'm talking about how does data governance. So it's just like you already know the difference between data governance and data and data management. Okay, so data governance and data management. Okay, now we're talking about specifically data governance. So when we talk about data governance inside, is by actually ensuring data accuracy, consistency, availability. When you keep on hearing things like you're talking about integrity of it. Data governance provides reliable information that aids informed decision-making. This is how it is. So data governance in an organization provides a structure, framework, for a decision-making by defining roles as well. We also have that done by defining responsibilities and processes. So this promotes transparency, accountability, and effective communication, fostering the environment where decisions are well informed and aligned with the organizational goal and corporate objectives. So the basic thing is that the answer I'm giving, whatever the answer to the question is not limited to what I'm giving to you, but you must understand that it's about data integrity that will help to provide and improve information, information that leads to an informed decision making. Very important. Okay, it's just indirectly telling you what is relevant data governance in terms of decision making. That's what it means. Okay, so Louis, if you're ready, let me make you a co-host or a host.
Are we moving straight to Power BI?
Yeah, we're going to Power BI straight. So, right, and I think if I make you a co-host, you should be able to share.
Pastor, does everyone have their Power BI on already?
Whether they have now or not, I think it will be better that we just go through one more time. And does anyone here have a Power BI on? Or do you want us to give you more chance to on your Power BI while we are actually really waiting for, we can wait for you when you want to do your Power BI on. Anyone here with Power BI on? Or Louis, just share if you can. Yeah, because of the time.
So maybe I'm the one that is new here. I know only one or two people here, but I don't know the others. Normally, we have the culture of introducing ourselves.
Don't worry. So let's just go straight and
just a moment. Can you guys see my screen?
yeah, I can see it.
Okay.
No, it's blank at the moment.
Yes, I know. I'm just opening my, geez, this is how many. Okay, can you guys see my screen now?
Yep. It's still blank. But
still blank.
Yeah, it's blank as well.
Okay, hold on. This has opened 3. Just a minute. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing and share again.
Yeah, it's okay. Now we can see.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, white. And we can see. Yeah,
I'm going to share again, please.
Okay.
But this is just... All right, I think it's better now. What about now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So hi, everyone. My name is Louis. And today I'll be giving you guys an intro about Power BI. For those of you who have practiced on Power BI, I'm sure I don't need to say much. But for those who are getting to know Power BI for the first time, Power BI provides visualization and it gives you an insight on how to transform data. The data we've been talking about, data, numbers and figures. This is where you get to use it and actually get informed information like all what Pastor has been asking us for interview questions. Basically, the software itself is useless. The only way it becomes useful is just when you have data. And for you to become a data governance, you definitely, when you are in the field, you will come across, you'll be working with people like business analysts, data engineers, data analysts themselves, and so on. So, whereby you are being passed information, for instance, on data, and you yourself cannot interpret that data, it makes your job hard. It doesn't make you compliant or proficient in your skill. So you have to have an understanding of what is out there. Power BI is a major big tool in terms of data and also Excel. Those are the two major foundation. If you have your strong skill work on Excel, Power BI shouldn't be a problem for you. You'll be able to comprehend it. It's not hard. And it is something, if you have the passion to learn it, um, with much practice, you would get a hang of it. So with further ado, I'm just going to dive in straight. Like, as you can see, this is Power BI. This is how it looks. For those of you who have your iOS or Windows, I do encourage you download it. When you download it, you'll be able to understand it. And as we start, you'll be able to follow steps. If you have access to the internet, I'll say go online, get an insight. Power BI isn't hard. In as much as you want to learn, you would learn. So, like I said, these are, and Power BI you have to is a licensed software. The software itself quite expensive. Most people have access to it, the full functionality of it through their company ID. I have something like this on my workspace at home, but I can't use that because definitely they'll know I'm using this for this. So I can't. I have to use my personal laptop, and that way I don't have a license, fully functional Power BI on my laptop. But this is basic. What I have here is basic enough to teach or show you how you could use data. So with further ado, when you have something like this, I would say Power BI gives you access into data structure. And structure is you can have data in Excel form, in what's the other one? There are lots of it. If you open it, if you say get data from here, when you say file, get open data or get data. Oh, sorry about that. When you click get data from here, it will give you a link into different formats of data you can get into. So let me try and click on that. Okay, there we go. Sorry, my system is a bit slow. Okay, as you can see, these are different data structures we're talking about. Excel, text, MLL, XML, JSON file, PDF, we all know PDF files, and also other database we can also get data from. For instance, SQL Server database, IBM, and what there's Oracle. So different places we can get data from. I'm going to cancel this. And in order for us to use data, like I said, we need data to work on this. So what I did when I started learning, I tried with the sample data that is online. So when you click on this, try sample, try a sample semantics model, click on it. Just a moment. Okay, now this pops up. It now says two ways. If this is your first time using Power BI, you could equally use this, seize the opportunity to go to the online tutorial and just get a hang of what is there. How to open a file, how to do this. It will tell you everything you need to know about Power BI. But I'm not going to go into that. You can do that in your own leisure time. So what I'll do here, I'll say, go to click sample data. Now, when you click on sample data, immediately your Power will connect to the internet, because definitely this is working with the internet, and it knows you need a sample data to learn. And instantly it gives you one, which is out there, is on your system. And you can equally download some data on Google. There are free data out there you can just use to get a hang of what's going on. So with further ado, you see a sample financial sheet. This is a file, and this is the data. Now, two of them will have financial and sheet one. You can choose any one you want. When you click on sheet one, immediately Power BI will start loading. It's giving you a preview. Now look at this here. This is a data sheet. On it, you can see you have segment, country, product, and so on. But there's something missing here. This data, if you look at it, there's discounts, there's units sold, there's manufacturer's price, there's a lot, gross sales, discounts. These are all numbers. Now this makes it looks neat like this right now, but there's a problem here. When you start getting used to data, you will understand the process on how you can make sense of figures. So looking at this now, I wouldn't say it's that perfect, but it can be improved. And that is where we get into the word data. What's that word again? Enrichment. Enrichment is unifying an information. Now, the thing about data governance is for you to make sense of what you are given. It could be data from a business analyst, another data from another analyst. You bring all together. You can take from here, and make your own full verdict vision of what is going on in the organization. And you can easily pinpoint where the problem is coming from, recommend solutions to it, and you make it known to them that, okay, I can see this area is having a problem and all of that. So like what Pastor said initially, data gives us informed information on how to make decision. As a data governance, you are not, you are to portray the stakeholders' view on the service, their interests, and that is why you are hired. It's a big responsibility, because you are seeing things not just in words, you are seeing things in numbers. Numbers that back up information, credible information, and you have to act to basically data governance. You are protecting the company. You're making sure they are all complying with the rules. Because like I say, this can cause risk, which can be money effective. And I said money effective can cost money. Because if the company is not complying with what they're supposed to do, then there's a breach. And that is what the stakeholders don't want. Your job is to minimize risk. Put in place structures that will minimize risk or even prevent them. and make sure everybody is on board. Data governance itself is like you are the driving mechanism in that structure. It's like a car that never stops. It's constantly moving. And like a car, we all know they upgrade them. When you're driving a car to some point, you stop and change the tire. That's like data governance for you. You buy a new tire. When the engine is dead, it's either you overhaul the engine or you buy a new one. And sometimes, even in a car, when a part is bad, it needs replacement. And that is like taking the parts, taking a policy, look into it, see how you can enrich that policy and improve it to continue drive. So you are like the engine, you are the heartbeat of the organization. That's data governance for you. And this helps you to make that decision and give informed information to the stakeholders who are just sipping tea, waiting for you to tell them what's out there. Okay, we're signing this. That's what you're paid for. So that's data governance for you. So looking at this data itself is not okay. And when you look at data governance, you can see there's load and transform data. They are both blank right now as it is. That is because we have not activated the edit mode or the query mode for the data. In order for you to do that, you click on the small box on the side. When you tick it, if you notice, I'll untick it. If you see my screen, the load lights up immediately when I tick. When I untick it, it becomes gray. So I'm going to tick it again. You can see it load. You can see load came up and transform came up. But right now, I'm not going to quickly load this data. I need to transform it to what I want. It doesn't have to be the same way what I'm doing. You can equally do yours, or you can just jump in and load the data. But with what I'm seeing here, there's a lot of things that I don't need. Not that the data is useless. I personally don't need it. So I'm going to transform this data. When you do that, Power BI will kick in straight away, as you all can see. And please, everyone, feel free to stop me if you do not understand what I'm doing. Please don't just look at it. It is good you have a clear understanding of it. With time, we'll all get to do some assignments together. It's not a question of you keeping quiet. Please talk, because data governance is all about interaction. And if I'm just like you guys, I'm not perfect, but data governance is all about you talking. So it brings you out. If you are a shy person that doesn't like talking, then data governance is not for you. You have to talk. At some point in time, it's not by sending emails. You have to brainstorm. When I say brainstorm, put heads together. Make sure you are communicating and you are reciprocating feedbacks in order for you to do your job very well. Because at the end of the day, you need information from other people in order for you to do your job. So please, if I'm doing anything here that you do not understand, do not hesitate. Stop me and say you're not clear on this. So can everybody understand how I got here, please? Does everyone understand how I got here? Hello?
That's from me.
If you do not understand, let me know. I'll go back. Hello?
I assume that everyone understand. Otherwise, they will ask you a question. Okay? Right on.
All right, then. So looking at this segment now, we are on the query mode. We are querying the data. As you all saw initially, there's a lot of things here. There's a lot of data here. So on this segment area, we have, if you click on this drop down, immediately you will see all that it is on the segment. Now on the segment area, as you all can see, we have channel, partners, enterprise, government, middle market, and small business. Now, let's say this is a live data. This is a live data. I'm not interested in small business, markets, or whatever. I'm only interested in, okay, let's just say I'm interested in governments, or let me unclick all of them first. I'm interested in governments, small markets, and enterprise. That's what I'm interested in. So I now click on it. Immediately, Power BI transforms this data. It has taken away all the small markets and whatever. It's only left the government, enterprise, and small business. The others are gone. Then another thing you need to take note on Power BI is whatever step you take, if you look on the right-hand side of your screen, you will see the step right here. Can you see that? From source where we came from, down to navigation, down to what? Promote headline, which is where I am here, down to changing types. And what? Filtering rows, which is what we have just done here. Whatever you do, it will show you a record of what you are doing. And that way you can trace your step back if you made a mistake. So the same thing comes, we do this for all of it. For instance, the country. If I click on the drop down again, you will see Canada, France, Germany, Mexico, and United States of America. Now, remember this is a sample data, but let's just pretend this is a live data. And now look, okay, I've got information from other places, but as a UK data governance for whatever company it is, I'm only assigned to look into data for countries or like Germany and France. Or let's just put one more country, Mexico. So I untick on this. Even if you have other companies, what you are assigned to cover, you're not expecting any presentation for Canada. And so I click on France, Germany, and Mexico. Even if you have other companies there, according to what you know, your knowledge, this is what you are interested in because that's what you are assigned to look into. And I'll click on it. And again, Power BI reshuffles the data. Now, as it is now, we are doing data cleansing. We're cleansing this data. They call it cleansing. You are cleaning it up to what you want it to be. Now you move over to the next place and now you see products. Under products again, when we click on it, we can see there are different products. We have Amarilla. We have Carretira or whatever they call it, and Montana, Paseo, Velo, and VTT. Again, these are products that are out there. Your company might be responsible for it, but for that moment, for just this study on how to use data, we want to use maybe 2 or 3 products. I'll say Paseo, so I'm going to unclick on it. I'm going to take Paseo, Montana. Okay, let's just do 2. Paseo and Montana. On your own, if you are studying this, you can decide to do your own and say you want to take on 5. You click on it. And instantly there's another transformation again. You can now see on the product list, we only have Montana and Pasio. Now we now come to the other section. It says what? Discount brand. You can see none, low, whatever is all the way down. Let me scroll down for you guys. Low, medium, and whatever. High as well. Now, for a business analyst, it's important. For a data governance, this is not important to me. Now, what do? I right click on it and I say remove. I don't want it. The whole thing that is written there, I remove it. And as you can see, it's disappeared. It's no longer there anymore. And can you see what it's telling me under here on this section on the right hand section of the Power BI? Removed column. Can you see that? Whatever you do here, you can trace your steps. If I were to cancel this for now and say, oh, I want that thing back, I click on it, and guess what? It's back. Can you see that? You can easily trace your step. I'm going to remove it quickly again. I see the record is back again. That I've removed the column. Moving forward, there's still more you can do with Power BI when it comes to data in terms of numbers. Now look at this. This one says units sold. Now when you look at this, it looks nice, right? The figures. We have 3 figures. We even have decimal figures and whatsoever. Now, in terms of data governance, it's best to give information in whole number. Be precise. You could use percentages if you want, depending on the structure or information you are trying to portray about the data. On this note, I don't want decimals. It's either it is a 2, I don't want 2.1 or 1. It's decimals. Like for instance, look at this this very one here, 1375.5. I don't want this. It's either 76 or 75. I don't want no decimals. So what do? I right click on this again. I come down to change type. And I see decimal numbers. Can you see that here? Come down to whole numbers. You can see percentage, all of them. You can see all of that. So I click on whole number. And guess what? That 137.5 is no longer 137.75 anymore. It's now 1376. It's abbreviated the figures. So now we have whole numbers. And what you do, one good thing about Power BI is that it changes everything within that column. So looking downwards, you see that everything is now accurate on the figures. Please endeavor to download Power BI and practice on your own. You have a clear understanding of it. And with that, if you're having any more issues or you are struggling, please do not hesitate, reach out. I'll help. Because that makes me learn as well. So now we have manufacturing price here. Okay, I'll say I'll leave that one. I'll leave that one. Now we now have sales price, manufacturing price, sales price. No, I'm going to take out manufacturing. I'm not interested. I want the sales. I'm going to take that out. So sales price, look at the sales price now. Is there any decimals? Let me be sure. Okay, good. Now, this is the sales price per product. It's a good information. On this other column, we have gross sales. Gross sales normally is the total of what has been sold, but there's an issue on this one. So I think I saw some points. Just to be sure you are not having any decimals, just right click on it and just make sure you are correcting it. You're doing it. Okay, it's already in whole numbers, which is good. You can say, I didn't do anything here, but it's already been corrected. Power BI will tell you the kind of figures that are out there, if they are in whole numbers or not. For instance, if this was a very long data and I didn't have the time to scroll down, I could just click on this, check on type, and it will tell you, like, now I've not scrolled down on this one. Already Power BI is indicating that there's some decimals here, and I don't want decimals. I want whole number. I have to do what? Change it to whole number, and that is already done. I didn't have the time to scroll down. All I had to do is just click on that, and it gave me the information that there are decimals there already. Oops, sorry. Okay, there we are. Now, moving on, we have discounts. I'm not interested in discounts. You may be interested in discount depending on what you want to portray, but I'm not interested in it. I'm going to take it out. So now we have sales, and we have gross sales, we have sales. Once again, I'm going to change this to whole number. You can see it's in decimals. There are decimals involved. I don't need to go scroll through. Already Power BI is telling me, and I change that to what? Whole numbers. So this is gross sales. This is sales. Now we have the COG. Somebody told us the meaning of COG again. I've forgotten. Anyone can refresh my memory. That's fine. Does anybody know what COG means? COGS. Cost of I forgot what the G stands for. Does anyone know it? Madam, do you remember what COG means? COGS. Hello, everyone. Is anyone there?
Can hear you. No information from my side.
Okay. Someone told us the last class when we did this what COG means, but I can't remember. Okay. Let's just, okay, for practical, I don't need this. I'm going to take it out. Now, profile, profit, sorry. The profits, also in decimals, I'm going to change that to whole numbers. So you go to type, you can see in decimals, you change that to whole number, and that's changed. Everything is now, there's no decimals here anymore. Profit is profit. While gradually moving to the end of the transformation or cleansing of this data, and currently now we are at this point where we have dates, months. The next one is name and year. To me, these are the things that you need to watch out for. They're all saying the same thing. So do we need to keep all the data? When, for instance, let me give my own example. We have day under these formats here. There's day, there's month, there's year. Now there's only months here. There's only months in words here, and there's year. Why do I need all of this? And to me, you don't need it. Choose what makes sense to your report. That's the way I look at it. Choose what makes sense to your report. I'm going to take out number. I'm going to take out name. Yes, I'm going to take out name. And then I'm going to take out year because that other one, the date already has all three information that I need. Now, look at this one. It has the date. Okay, someone is saying something. Madam.
That's COGS, cost of goods.
Cost of, thank you. I know it's cost of something. Cost of goods. But we've taken it out already. It's somewhere around any of these places. If we click it back, it will come back, but I don't know which one it is, but we've just taken it. These are just for practice for now. At least now we all know what COGS means, cost of goods. So now we have all what we have here now is the dates, the months, and the year. We have all of that. We've transformed all our data to whole numbers. And I'm happy about it right now. So what do I do? What do we do next? Remember, we are in query mode. We have not even updated the data itself. We're still in query mode. Now, there's so much we can do. You can customize this to your own data. For instance, changing countries. So maybe we say Montana. Montana and Pasio. Maybe just say flour, the product name. Units sold. You might say quantity. If I want to change this to units to quantity, all I need to do is just rename and take this out. Sorry, and put in there quantity. And that's it, done. And now that has changed. And you can see Power BI will record what we've done here. Rename column. It will tell you. It records all your steps. Now I've changed that. Is there anything I need to change again? Government segment, country, products, quantity, sale price, gross sales, and what's the rest? Sales, profits, and time, which is the dates. Okay, now I'm done here. Now I would like to load. All you need to do is click on close and apply. And instantly, wait for Power BI. And see what it's doing is creating something right now. Do pardon my slow system. Good. Now Power BI has done now yes. So what we have just done now, you might imagine, oh, we are here now. Why is nothing appearing? All you have to do, go to your left-hand side, click on the model. The modeling gives you a relationship between what's going on your system. Like as you can see now, this is sheet 1. And you can see everything that we have just done. All the headings. Sales country is done even, and this is a sum of the gross sales and the rest. Everything is done. Power BI makes it very easy for you. Now let's go to the table itself. Hold on. Here we go. So now this is the loaded data. The data we have all transformed. Can you all see it? Everything is good to go. So now we're now moving to the fun part of Power BI. Now looking at this, if you are doing a presentation and the stakeholders who are your bosses, who are the ones paying your fees and your rents and your bills, and this is what they don't have time for this. Yes, some of them are well educated that look at it, but they depend on your trusted inputs because it helps them to decide what next to do. Now you have this information in front of you, which you have done or could have received from another analyst for you to interpret. Now, looking at it, the best way of interpreting is by visualization. Visualization is how it gives a graphic, it turns data into graphical information, whereby you see if the company is progressing. You see it with either the bar chart or whatever chart that is. And you can either tell them that, oh, at this point in time, we're making a profit, or at this month in time, this is where we are. Now, when you are talking to them, talking like this, they will never understand what you're talking about. And that is where visualization helps. It tells your story. It tells your story, and if you have something, you have this information to back up what you are saying. So you're not just making out words that this is how it is, this is how we all get. If we are watching news or watching elections. Now, data itself is so fascinating that you can use it to even predict what is about to happen next. And data itself is not just used for organization, is used in weather reports, is used in elections, is used to predict even, let me say, gambling, sales, peak time, and non-peak time. True feedback. Those of us here in the UK, there's what we call peak period. Peak period is when either there's traffic, there's so much business on the road, or even, and that it might not just be travel, it could be even taking kids to the school. But this peak period has a time where it ends. Now, through constant study of how things are evolving around us, the data is collected, put into a system like this, and it predicts what will even happen tomorrow. It goes as far as even science. That's how they could predict. You see the weather report, they'll tell you it's going to rain tomorrow. It's not just science, it's just the data they are taking from live data itself, which is quite important. And those things are enables an analyst to predict when a certain thing is going to happen, or when certain things are not going to happen. And that's why they can predict the global warming issue. They've already been predicting it on data. Just through data, they got it done. So data is very, very important. It plays a vital role. If you know how to use it, you can interpret what is out there. These figures can be interpreted. And that way it helps. And that is what you are hired for, to interpret. That's what data governance is all about. Interpret it. And even while you are interpreting it and you are seeing the problem, you can easily see where the problem is coming from, what you need to do to prevent it from happening again, and put other structures in order. These are the things that makes you a data governance manager. You manage the company. Like I said, you are the heartbeat like a car, and the car is constantly moving. It does not stop. If the car stops, you are fired. You're gone. When I say car stops, that means you've broken down the company. Before a car breaks down, warnings will come up. Even when an engine wants to die, knocking sound will come up. The signs will come. The car itself is giving you data. So this gives you information on what's going on in an organization, and you can now interpret it to the stakeholders. So with further ado, I'm going to go into visualization. Now we're on a blank page again. We are back where we were. In terms of visualization, I will say pick what you feel is okay for you. Now, in terms of, there's a common visualization which I like to use, and which is this one right here. It's called the common charts. You click on it. Okay, there we go. And let's say we want to expand on it. Let's expand this so everyone can see it. Can everyone see this? Now I go under sheet 1, I click on it. Now I can see, let's click on the countries. I'm going to click on country. Sorry. Now I'm going to click on the country is here. Let me put country products. Sorry, we'll take that off. Quantity. And products. Yep, there we are. Now, on this one now, as you can see, we have, this really isn't giving me much. Now you can see over here on the X and Y axis, we have sum of quantity, and here we have product. Remember, we picked 2 products initially, which is Montana and Passio. I'm not getting much information about this. I'm only getting figures, but I want something to illustrate well what is going on. So I'm going to click on another chart. Okay, now this one is good. Now you see how this is visualizing for us? We can see here with the quantity of Montana and Passio. Passio is high in demand. Montana too, they are doing well, but not so much. Now you can either use this to interpret to the data that, okay, we don't even know which countries are buying it. Let's say we click on a country. Now, we have Montana. There are 2 countries here anyway. This is for Mexico. Sorry, this is for Germany, and this is for Mexico. Can you all see that? Now, for Montana, here you can see, I don't know what this blue is for. This is why another thing you need to understand what's going on. I don't know what this brown is for, but let me see. Anyway, between the 2 of them, they are both doing well, but in Germany, you can tell that Montana and Passio are not doing that well. Whereas in, sorry, okay, this is for Mexico, right? Okay, you can see in Germany, they are not doing so well, whereas in Mexico, they are doing well. So Mexico is making money better than Germany. Now, for data governance, you might be since this is your case study and the data has been given to you, you can now look into it and say, what is going on? Now you look into things from the business aspect of it, and you look whether or not, what can you do to improve this? You now start making recommendations. Now, in order for you to make your recommendation, you have to identify the problem and why they are not performing. This is where data governance comes into play. And you go into it and see what you can do to make things a lot more better. And see the difference of what is going on here that is missing here. With live data from them, now you are getting another data from what they are doing so well here and what they are not doing so well here. You now compare. That way, you are able, with your 90 days roadmap, you might as well lay out your plans and see, okay, I can now see what I need to focus on. You can put things in place here to improve or maximize productivity, which is looking at what they can do, you can do, because every day, for the fact a policy is working okay, doesn't mean it cannot be improved. It can also be, you can still reevaluate it. You can reevaluate it and improve it and carry on doing what you need to do. So this is what data governance is all about visualization. There's a lot about this visualization I would really implore that you take. I know I've given so much information. I would not want to dive deep in making this complex for everyone. The major thing I would say you should try and practice is how to transform data. Get used to data governance, Power BI as a whole. And then the rest is history. This is just the fun part of it. Does anyone have any questions? Hello?
If anyone has questions, you should ask now. I'm not sure. I think they understood it because going by.
Pastor, no. Guys, sorry if I'm sounding a bit pushy. Please. We're all here to learn. Trust me, maybe I'm not sure, those of you who are regular here, there's a lot of other students here, and it is highly encouraged. You guys speak. Don't look at, look, for the fact I'm talking, I wish you guys were here when I started this school. I was a total novice, but my hunger to learn, to change my life, I started digging. So please do not hesitate.
I think somebody
Do
wants
anything,
to
ask.
somebody want to ask question. Smith, do you have a question to ask?
No, none from my end.
So you comprehend everything that has been
Do you understand everything when it comes to transforming data? Is that correct?
It's not a total take. It's not a total take.
Then that was why I said you should stop me.
That is it. Okay, the phenomenon is about ETL, okay, or it can also be referred to as ELT. You extract data, you transform, you load, or you can extract data, you load, transform. So that is very important. And you see the source of the data, where you get the data from, and then you saw also where transformation taking place. A lot of cleansing were done, and various steps were registered the other side of it, so that you know all the steps that have been taken. And the essence of this is to, have a domain to which you take decisions, and you need to know the parameters you really need, those real data you really need, and then those data that will not have prospect for survival in terms of your needs were removed. And then I think you did enrichment. You did enrichment by, did you add a geographical location or whatever?
No, I'm not done. Yeah, I added those were by the map, but there are even other things. Do you know what? When it comes to enrichment, that's another different ball game.
Yeah, so
there are lots you can do, but I think the basic is what you need to know, which is how to transform data itself. You need to know how to do that.
So basically, it's about transformation of data and visualizing, and where the stakeholder will have a decision, an informed decision based on what they want to take out of it. But however, is a phenomenon whereby they have to use ETL or ELT to get that extract data, transform and load, and you cleanse the data as well when you are doing. But first of all, these things are like data analysis and data profiling first as well. Okay, so if you have any question, please do ask.
If you want us to repeat this another time, please do not hesitate. But because what I'm saying is because we are all talking about data right now. You talk the talk, you need to know how to walk the walk. Because at the end of the day, you talk about data, you know this, you know that, but you can't use the softwares. How proficient are you using the softwares? And these are the recommendations. Some companies out there, when you throw your CVs out, they ask you, do you have up to 2 or 3 years? So if you don't even know the foundation of a report from an analyst or a business analyst, how do you become a data governance? So please try and try again. It does look a bit, I was in this situation initially. You could come across this, or even in an organization, they might say, okay, we need a BA here. We don't have the money. You can go back to the stakeholder and recommend a BA has to do this job. And your employees hired you on a highly recommendation that from your background, you have a bit of BA, being that you know how to use Power BI or even Excel. And they talk to you, okay, until we recruit, remember, you are the engine, a data governance, remember, until we recruit somebody that is proficient in Power BI, would like you to take on this project and get this done for the time being while we are scouting for somebody. And what do? You have to fit in. If you like, build them. Okay, you were paying me £60,000 a year. For the next 1 year, until someone is able to fit in, I would like an increment. I will want £80,000. Because now you're not doing data governance plus a business analyst job, which is using Power BI. You're doing their job. And the company will think about it, oh, if we're to employ somebody now, it's going to cost us £25,000 a year per person. Okay, he has vast skills. I think it's fair enough we pay him for what he's asking for. But that initially that wasn't what you signed up for. But you've just identified that how can a structure not have a business analyst? You have the view, the training, which you are gaining here theoretically, but you have to have the skill set as well. These are things that secure you as a data governance. It solidifies your position in the organization. It makes you a value asset or a valid asset. Pardon my English. So please, if you feel you do not know it, trust me, the way I sound right now, it feels like I don't know anything. These things are deep. But it's all about your choice of whether or not you want to know or you don't want to know. Luckily, if you feel this is not important to you and you have the basic Excel, you might see, okay, definitely there's going to be somebody in the organization. But whereby you go to work and there's a BA there, and all of a sudden there's a serious project you're working on, and the BA is ill, and they don't have a replacement immediately. What would you do? Are you going to let the company fall because they've entrusted you to make sure this scheme keeps going on? And you've already recommended they employ an assistant. But unfortunately, the recruitment team are not seeing who is qualified for that. You have to step in while the other staff is ill. I've seen situations whereby my bosses came to my department, saw my workload because they were training other staffs that were not qualified to handle those policies I was myself and one other lady in Scotland were working together, and it was too much. Immediately, my bosses left their position. I saw them on my system, that they were logged in. Immediately, I talked to them to our intern. What are you doing here, sir? Oh, I'm here to help. And I thought they didn't have those skill sets. Unfortunately, to my surprise, they had the skill sets. And just from 2 of us, we became 6, and we finished that work within 2 hours. And the job was done. And after that, I saw them logging out and going back to their position. That's just how a company works. So are you, those doing the data, are they going to say, oh, because, and they are training staffs, they're training new recruits, but they are training them where these areas were quite sensitive and they could cost the company money if they don't get it right. And at that moment, we're only 2 staffs, myself and the other lady in Scotland. I could even barely hear her accent. First, I'll call her on the phone. I don't hear her accent. I can't hear. I keep speaking my own English to the best of my ability. But you know, this is hard. At some point, I have to tell my other staff, look, come. Look, I'm lagging behind. I'm not communicating well. She's supposed to return this file to me, and I get it adjusted and send it to the other company, blah, 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 blah. Before you know, it got so much, my boss had to complain to another boss. And when the thing went up, immediately those other bosses came to our department, logged into our system. I was surprised, what is this man doing here? I had to call, what are you doing here? He said, oh, I'm here to help. And we got it done. So you need to have the skill sets when it comes to data governance, not just deciding, because you have to interpret, you have to know what someone is giving to you. And that way, if you are making adjustment and doing other things, they need to understand what you're doing as well. Although our own part of communicating isn't that. We are interpreters. We interpret what the figures are telling us, and we use the visualization to do presentation for people to know what we are talking about. This small data that is right here in front of us that we're playing with, I can just easily say it, oh, Germany isn't doing well. Mexico is doing well. What is Mexico doing that Germany isn't doing? I have to dig that out as well, still in these numbers, and bring it out. And I say, okay, this department, we need to do this, we need to check this, do that, and everything. And we'll try it. I put in place metrics to measure. These are the steps they expect. And sometimes I put, as a data governor, you have to set in long-term and short-term plans. It's all about thinking up here, being, how will I put it? Using your imagination, exploring, but also following guidelines and compliance and making sure things work out well for the company, because that is what they employed you for. It's like saying, come and work for me, keep me going. I trust you. That's what data governance is all about. Help my company grow, portray my image. I want the journey from when this butter is made to when it gets to the consumer's end, and I get good feedback that, oh, I enjoyed it. People might enjoy your products, but the customer service might be trash, and that gives you a low rating. Oh, their fans, their tires are good, but their customers are rubbish. No, this is where data government comes in. I say, okay, let me change that narrative. As they say my product is good, I want them to say my staffs too are good. And you get those feedbacks through data itself that is coming in. That is why, if you notice, when you go online on eBay, you see 2 stars, you see 1 star, you think those things don't matter. It matters a lot. In fact, a lot. You need to see the way companies panic, like my company, they panic when when a staff or a customer tells you, I'm going to the ombudsman if you don't get this. Now, some of them who know what they expect when they are paying good amounts of money, and you're not meeting to the end of the bargain, and they tell you they're going to the ombudsman, and you know you are the cause of that problem, or you've seen the problem coming that somebody else caused, and you don't red flag it to mitigate and resolve it quickly, costing the company money, you might not take the bad end of the problem. Your boss will. And your boss will come breathing down your neck that you saw this happening. What did you do? So data involves everybody. What did you do when this came across to you? Did you red flag? Even if you're not responsible for it, did you red flag it? So the person who is responsible for it will deal with it. For instance, I got a call from one of that departments. And also then it was because I majorly deal with Aston Martin. It was also an Aston Martin's customer. And do you know what this person did? What saved me? He said, oh, his contact number is different. This is not our standard. Louis, you took this call. How come the number on the system is wrong? And do you know what I said to them? Play the recording. What the customer told me was what I put down there. See, they now played it. They said, okay, obviously the error came from the customer. But do you call the customer to tell him, oh, you gave us a wrong number? No. When the customer called in, we have another device that takes the numbers of that number. So we compared and saw that, oh, it's actually the same numbers, only one digit was missing from the start, which was a 7. And I said, oh, well done. We can see on the system that and they don't have access to that system. I have access to it. So it was this was an internal communication between myself and another staff from another department I don't know. And what they told me was that, oh, do you mind checking your 180 software? Can you tell me what number he used to contact you? And let's compare. Maybe we'll get the missing. We don't need to find out his number or write him an email to email us his number. That's a waste of. These are standards, and that is what. Profiling the data, cleansing it, updating it, retention, and the number changed. And instantly from my 180 software, which I only had access to, which is under my login, I was able to bring out the number, the actual number. And what they did, corrected the system, called the customer, and the customer picked up. It was the same customer. Went through DPA checks to make sure it's actually that person they are talking to, which they know they have to comply in order for them to get service. And that problem was solved. I could have just held my ground and said, oh, is what he told me now. That's like, it doesn't end like that. You owe a duty of responsibility to get it right. Because the ombudsman will not listen to you that, oh, you missed the number, but there are protocols you should put in place to get this done. The last means is to email the customer. Oh, we don't have your number. Well, why do we have to go through that long process when the company has invested money into softwares that would reduce incompetency? These are all the things they talk about data governance as a whole. They put things in place to minimize risk. So thank you all. This is all I have to say. Please find time, go into this, get a hang of it. If you're having any issues, do not hesitate. This isn't the end of you guys have not started touching base on what it is. There are very cool assignments that will open your mind on data governance as a whole. Please, please, please engage. If you fail to engage, then that's where you want to be. It's only for those who are hungry.
Hello, thank you so much, Louis.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. I think we need to stop here for today.
Thank you, Louis.
Thank you. Barrister, is Barrister there? Okay.
Thank you, Louis.
Yeah.
Nicosa,
Kingdom of all.
I find
Okay.
that level don't come. We don't come.
Congratulations. That's good.
Yes,
Okay, then well done.
No problem. Thank you so much. I think we're going to close right now.
Thank you all. God bless you all. Thank you, Mr. Lewis.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Smith from
Thank you.
Smith from Nigeria. Are you okay? So
I'm good, sir.
okay, all right. If you have any question, please do ask, and we'll get in touch. Okay. If you need a link for this training, I will send it across to you. Okay. Bye, everyone. Bye. I gotta go now. I have
Mr. Lewis, please, I need your contacts.
No problem. All is well. All right. I gotta go now.
On this
Thank you, everyone.
Everyone. See you. Bye.
All right,
Bye.
cheers. Nice one, people.
Bye.